Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Brant Fowler and I'm ready to talk to you about only good comics. This time we're going to be talking about Kill Your Darlings, issue number 1 from Image Comics. This is written by Ethan S. Parker and Griffin Sheridan with art by Robert Quinn, letters and design by John J. Hill. Now, the title caught my attention. Obviously, Kill Your Darlings is it's I don't want to call it a rule, or I don't know what the right term for it is, but it's this thing in writing where you have to be brave enough in your writing to kill your darlings, to kill the characters you care the most about, because if you're not willing to do that, then sometimes your stories can't progress, they get stale or dull. You have to be willing to let your most prized projects go, even to make room for something new, something else, especially if it doesn't work and that kind of thing. So it's this whole thing in writing called Kill Your Darling. So I was like, okay, so what is this about? So that caught me, and it was really, though, the story and the beautiful art in this book that kind of won me over. So we start this book with kind of it's back in I guess it's like the early 1900s or late 1800s, somewhere around there. There's a burning of a witch, and that's kind of our opening scene. So I'm like, is that what this is? Is it a period piece? Is it this kind of thing? And I didn't really know much about this book going into it, so I wasn't sure exactly what this book was about. So I was like, okay, well, that's something. All right, fine. But we quickly get past that scene, and we're taken into this uh, fantasy realm with like these stuffed animals and these like cute little teddy bears and elephants and stuff fighting a rat army. So kind of Nutcracker like, um, and we're seeing this massive battle, and then we quickly realize that this is the imagination of a young girl. This is her imagined world. Her name is Rose, and she's created this whole world with all her stuffed animals and everything. It seems like she's an only child. She doesn't have a lot of friends and that kind of thing. So her mom's a single parent, struggling to pay the bills and all this stuff, and that's kind of what's going on. So she's created this whole other world for herself, and that really pulled me in because that was kind of me. When I was a kid, I was an only child, and my parents didn't get along great. They got divorced when I was very young, so not a big deal. It's ancient history. But I would do that. I would like hide in boxes or closets or whatever, and I would create these scenarios and these imaginary worlds. And I think that's kind of what started me on the path of being a creator, a writer myself. So it kind of endeared me to this young girl, and I could relate to her and the struggles of that family and what they were all going through, and the escapism of creating your own worlds when you didn't have, maybe she didn't have cable or a lot of books or whatever. They were struggling with money and everything, and so that pulled me in, right? So I'm like, okay, so this is a little bit more interesting, right? So throughout a good portion of the book, we're going back and forth between her reality, which is a little grim, but she's keeping her spirits up, and she does have one friend that she kind of interacts with at school, and wants to bring him over to kind of help with the adventures, but he can't come over, and she tries to get her mom to participate in everything, and sometimes she does, but other times she's got to work, or she's got to handle bills and all that stuff. So Rose just has to kind of entertain herself. So it ends up, and this is a spoiler alert, if you have not read this book, and you intend to, kind of pause it here, come back, because this is a big part, and it's what kind of cemented this book for this week's video for me, and definitely kept me on the hook to get the next issue and see what happens. So this little girl, as she's in her fantasy world and everything, all of a sudden everything's being burned down in the fantasy world, but in reality it happens too. And now we don't know, because we started off with a burning of a witch at a stake, right? So now, are we supposed to believe that this girl got so lost in her imagination that she was setting real fires and her apartment goes up? Or is it some kind of latent mystical power, some kind of witch power. We don't know at this point what is going on with this little girl Rose, and if her mother even survived this tragic fire, and what's going to happen from here. So things get very real, very serious, very quick, and that was like, okay, now I've got to know what happened. I got to know what's going on with this little girl. It was a fantastic issue. The art is amazingly gorgeous. I mean, it just, you start off with that, like I said, that scene of the burning at the stake, and it's like overcast with night, and so it's like softer tones, blues and greens and that kind of thing, and it's like it's a lighter, not a lighter palette, it's a duller palette, because you're not glorifying that scene, so like there's a lot of off-white and stuff like that. And then when you jump to the girl's imagination, it's very bright and colorful and happy and exciting. And then you get to the part where her and her mom, and then their apartment is more drab and dull like that first scene, but Rose herself is bright and cheery, and so she kind of pops off. And then of course when the fires and everything, so the coloring across the board is great. The art is beautiful. The expressions on the face are very emotive. They get the point across really well in every single scene, whether it's the mom just stressing out about bills, or Rose kind of trying to work her way through a problem, or trying to, kind of cheer herself up. You see it all in these characters. It's very vibrant, very active, emotional. It's got all the beats, right? So it really pulled me in. I really love this issue. I highly recommend checking this series out. Don't know where it's going, what the story is, but I like it so far, and that's why it's ended up on this week's Only Good Comics. So I hope you check it out, and if you do, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this book, because I'd love to hear your thoughts as well, and see if you were as excited and entertained and intrigued from it as I was. So we can talk about it more in the comments. So leave those below, and of course hit that subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss any other content on this channel, and follow me across social media at Only Good Comics. You can find this YouTube channel at onlygoodcomics.com, and join me next time as we talk about only good comics. Until then, take care and keep reading those comics. Thanks.